Which is better, food franchises or home services franchises? Today we're gonna figure it out. Because when most people think about franchising, two voices show up fast. The first, the general public. They think franchising equals food. McDonald's, Subway, and that sentiment suggests that all food franchises cost millions of dollars, need 50 or more employees, with razor-thin margins, requiring 70-hour weeks from franchise owners. Then there's the other voice, the industry insider voice. Usually franchise brokers yelling, "Don't buy a food franchise, buy a home services franchise instead." But today, to help figure out the truth, we're putting two real franchise models side by side. We're going to walk through the customer journey, look at the operations, talk to the franchise owners, and most importantly, show you what kind of life each business really creates. So let's get stuck into it. Now, in the last few years, home services franchises have exploded. No storefront, low investment, high margins, better for almost everyone. But today we're going to find out if that's actually true. We're looking at one of the strongest brands in the category, Footprints Floors. Now, here's something most first-time franchise buyers don't fully get. If you're in home services, marketing isn't just important, it's half of the whole game. It's often what separates winning franchises to franchise investments that end with you closing your doors after never really figuring out how to get customers through it. Which is why I always say, if your franchisor isn't world-class digital marketing, don't walk, run. So let's take a look at how Footprints Floors shows up in the real world. And let's use this brand as a good example of how a home services franchise model should work and who it's best suited to. All right, so first up, SEO. Let's take a look here. So we'll pop in flooring restoration near me. Down here in the first place, I can see it, you guys can see it here, is the first organic ranking here is Footprints Floors. That's money. You want this, you want your local specific landing pages optimized for the franchise owner. It says Denver right here. Before I click at that, most people want to validate, is the brand real? So immediately we can see here, we've got a 5-star review, 20 reviews, but they have a 5-star ranking. That's just for this one local location. And this tells you two things, right? That the system actually delivers and that the brand trains its franchisees to ask for and manage reviews. Step 3 is, paid ads, PPC. I want to see how they're doing there. And sure enough, up here, their very first spot for PPC ads. This allows us to understand they've got high converting copy, clean landing pages, and that they're nurturing their leads with ads to help their franchisees get more people in the door. All right, so step 4, now we check out the website quality. Straight away, you can see that this is a localized site for the franchisee. It's pretty clean, professional, it's fast. So when someone in your market searches, they're landing on your page with your phone number, your photos, your reviews. And this is the kind of marketing engine that makes scaling way easier. This is the type of thing that if you try and do on your own out the gates, this is $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 of investment per the location. So this is done really, really well. And so step 5 is what happens when I actually call to book. All right, so that was easy. We called, they put me on the schedule, let me know that the franchise owner themselves is going to come, put me on the schedule actually for the next day. The appointment shows up in my calendar. That was easy peasy. That was obviously a very professional call center and exactly what we want. Everything you just saw here, from SEO to reviews to ads, the website and even the call centers, this is the benchmark. When you're exploring a home services franchise, you better get answers on this stuff. Because what Footprints Floors is doing here, that's just the standard. Anything less than you could be in for a grind. All right guys, so Footprints Floors has just rocked up. Let's have a listen, see how this goes. Let's get stuck into it. Brian?
Yes, sir. Hey.
Brent, nice to meet you. Come on in, man.
Footprints Floors.
Come on in.
Beautiful house.
Thanks, man.
So, what do you got in mind, man? What do you want me to take a look at?
We have, so this is about a year build, but we've already got some issues with the floors, right? So just seeing what we might be able to do in terms of finishing the stairs though, getting them actually to match these.
Yeah, not a problem at all.
All right, man. What's the deal?
Yeah, so we can take care of that for $1,800.
So you're coming out, you're meeting your clients, that's your role. You're never on your hands and knees changing floors out.
That's absolutely right. Most of the time, yeah, I'm managing my business from my computer. I support the team, so I've got some salespeople, and then we've got project managers. And then yes, they manage the crews that do the physical labor.
What does a day like in the life look like for you, really?
So I've got twin boys that are 11, and they are in competitive travel hockey. I'm their coach. I'll say, yeah, I'm oftentimes up at 5, 6 a.m. doing some emails and things like that, but I take them to school every day, right? So I play hooky a little bit in the mornings. Definitely in the afternoons, I get them at school because we don't have a bus system. I'm a solid like 6 to 6 available, but really, throughout that time, 7 to 8 hours a day working on it. As I looked at different businesses, what I didn't want to do was unlock a door and have to turn the lights on and hope that people come through it. So yeah, absolutely, it was for the freedoms, right? And then hockey. I got this commitment to my kids that I'm going to coach them quite a bit.
Would you say the financial opportunity was the primary decision maker there, or was it more the freedom, or were both equally involved in that process?
Absolutely, it was about the money, right? You being a customer, I don't want to say that to you, but there's a tremendous amount of markup inside of construction.
What's the difference between guys and gals like you that are making money and controlling your schedule versus folks that are not?
When I leave here, I'm going to make a point to stop by some retail centers, go shake hands with them and talk to them and ask for their leads, contact these HVAC companies, let them know, hey, I got a property address. Brent, he's going to give you a call. I definitely go the extra mile to drive business through networking.
What's the toughest part about Footprints Floors?
It's you, the customer. Because homeowners can be mad. Homeowners can be dealing with, employment issues, or they got a speeding ticket on the way home and they come home and their house is torn apart. It's probably not pointed at us, but a lot of stuff comes our way. So yeah, I think one of the biggest things I learned was the emotional tolerance inside this business. If you can't separate that, it's definitely got the best of a few of our franchise owners.
What's your top line revenue look like across your 3 territories?
Yeah, that's a big one there, but last year we did
Awesome. And to the bottom line?
%.
Wow,
Yeah.
congrats,
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what you just saw, that's not just Footprints Floors. That's the playbook for top-tier home services franchises. When the brand has its marketing dialed in and you bring the sales and community chops, well, that's when the magic happens. Low investment, high margin potential, and maybe most importantly, real freedom. Owners picking their own schedules, no storefront, no night shifts, just a lean, profitable business with real lifestyle upside. But what if that's not you? What if sales isn't your thing? Or you hate networking? Or you've got zero interest in managing subcontractors or quoting jobs? What if walking into someone else's home to sell flooring makes you want to crawl out of your skin? Then yeah, home services might not be your game. But here's the good news. There's another lane. Okay, so I've owned home services franchises and I love the model. You just heard how a good home services franchise brand can bring real freedom and real flexibility, with some margin opportunities too. But I've also invested in food franchises. And there's a reason literally thousands of others invest in food franchises every single year. For the right person, food's not just viable, it can be pretty profitable and very scalable. So food franchising does absolutely work, but only if it's the right brand, with the right market and the right owner. And now, let me show you a brand I think checks every box. Welcome to Toastique. This isn't your average food franchise. There's no fryers, no grease traps, no late night drive-through chaos or calls at 11 p.m. that the ice cream machine's broken. Rather, it's relatively simple, it's scalable, and it's sexy, with a real brand that breeds real loyalty from both customers and employees alike. Toastique represents one of the growing number of high-quality food franchises who have flipped the old franchise model on its head. It's upscale, it's streamlined, and it has a brand that attracts the kind of customer who comes back 4 times a week. So let's go see how they pulled it off. Now, the first thing that's notably and obviously different is you're not out quoting jobs. You're not driving from house to house. You've got a real polished storefront. And every hour of every day, people walk by it. And if the franchisor knows what they're doing, like Toastique seems to do, they don't leave the location to chance. Right here, we have a Crumble Cookies, a health food grocery store in Sprouts, and a fitness center, all anchored right by this location, which is obviously a very deliberate move by the franchisor. They help find grade A real estate using data, foot traffic heat maps, and proven brokers. This means less pressure for you to become a marketing and sales ninja, like you have to do in many home service franchise models, and more focus on executing a bloody good operation. Right off the bat, we can see the franchisor here has done a phenomenal job with the branding. It's clean, it's on trend, it's very Instagrammable. And this is more important than it might first seem. You see, some franchise investors are purely driven by profitability. They care about one thing, a sexy P&L. They'll buy a plumbing or a painting franchise because the only thing that matters is making as much money as possible. But others, they're equally driven by something way less talked about, pride of ownership. They want a brand that feels good to run, a business they can brag about, something tangible where they can be proud to post, share and say, yeah, that's mine. And speaking of that, if you jump on Instagram or TikTok right now and search Toastique, you'll see a brand that has over 50,000 followers and corporates pushing out great content on behalf of the franchisees, which is something each owner can be very proud of. And now remember, this is important. In home services, you need a lead generation marketing machine. In food, you need brand power. And this is real brand power here. Not just the type to make your neighbors jealous, the kind that drives loyalty and repeat customers and a cult-like following. Now let's talk about operations. You've got a tight menu, no fryers, no grills, no grease traps, just juicers, toasters, blenders, and an espresso machine. It's relatively simple. We see 6 or 7 employees working at a peak time right now, so there's certainly an ease of operations associated with this food model. And because of how simple the operations are, you can scale faster. And that's the name of the game in franchising, multi-units. And here's the really interesting part for me about the volume you can do in a store like this. In home services, maybe you're pulling 30% margins on 500K revenue. That's 150,000. In food, you might only net 15%, but on 1.5 million in sales, that's 225,000. Now let's talk about the product. Avocado toast, cold pressed juices, acai bowls, and coffee. And yeah, it's bougie, but for that reason, you have to be careful. Would it translate into every single demographic like a McDonald's? Absolutely not. So it's important to understand if your market is the right market for this. But at the same time, the health and wellness food category is booming, and Toastique is riding that wave early, with premium ingredients, premium pricing, and a branding that attracts a higher end customer. People are spending more on health and wellness and convenience than ever before.
Shut up and take my money!
And Toastique is positioned right in that sweet spot. It's good. It's very good. So let me ask, what's your name?
Giada.
Giada, do you like working here?
I love working here.
Yeah?
With my dad, because he's the owner.
Oh, so this is a family affair. Since it's your old man, do you think I'd be able to talk to him and ask him a couple questions as the owner? Yeah?
Definitely talk to him.
Okay, cool, that'd be great.
Mark.
Brent, nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you as well.
Mark, let me ask, why did you choose a food franchise over all the different types of franchises out there?
So I have a culinary background. Previously I was a chef, then I went into sales for quite a few years, and in particular with this model, and I love the healthy aspect of it. I have a sports performance gym in my parking lot, and the trainers are coming over here, which says a lot. Most people know about nutrition. They're all bringing their clients over here because of how healthy all the food is.
Oh, awesome. What's your day in the life, day in the week look like? What's it like for you?
So I have a manager, Maddie, and typically I start off my day, we go over the day and what we need to do as far as any orders that need to be taken care of, catering that needs to go out, staffing if we need to make the schedule and do that. So between us, we are kind of organizing the day.
Would you say it's true that you're working harder than you did in your culinary career by owning the business, or has there been some freedom there for you with this particular model?
Myself in particular, when I was a chef, I was in the kitchen for 12 to 14 hours. I never spend 12 to 14 hours here, right? So even when the manager's off, we have a support staff that kind of fills in that void as well. So I'm not here even a full 8 or 10 hours. Some days I'm only here a couple hours a day. Business is great. You know, we're seeing double-digit growth quarter over quarter and month over month. So the word is out about Toastique. We have people that are in here 3 to 4 days a week.
To achieve the success that you have here, if someone's looking to do it themselves, what skills do you think they will need to be able to do this?
If you had a restaurant or a franchise background, I think that would be helpful. I don't think that you need to be a full-time owner-operator, but you need to have some presence in your store.
If someone's looking at a food franchise, what's the reality of some of the hardships or the challenges associated with this business?
I think location is key. Getting into a good lease with a solid landlord that understands your business and is willing to help out. As far as the corporate side of Toastique, I've never seen a company that produces and helps out more than this corporation. From the ownership or the leadership, I'd say all the way down, they always take your calls. They're always there to help out. They have ideas. If you're having a down month, what can we do to pick it up? The marketing team jumps in there.
Overall, would you say franchising this particular model in itself has changed your family's life?
Absolutely. Like I said, my family works here with us as well. It means a lot.
So, food franchising can absolutely work, but only if it's the right brand, the right market, and the right owner. All right, so to wrap this up, to answer the question, what's better, a home services franchise or a food franchise? I mean, it's kind of like asking, is Australian football better than American football? First off, yes, of course, Australian football is better than American football.
And racing across the field of play, scattering players left and right, bearing down on goal.
But it's still a subjective question, and it's not the right question. Because the truth is, the answer to the home services food debate is, it depends entirely on you, the individual franchise investor. Home services, as we saw today, it's great. It has lower overhead, lower investment typically, fewer staff, and some higher margins. And then food, still great in its own right. More moving parts, but more foot traffic, more volume, and a bigger upside. The real question, which business actually gets you to your financial and lifestyle goals? And are you brutally honest about whether you have the skills and drive to make it work? Because when you align that, the industry doesn't really matter. You'll be building something that fits you like a glove. So if you want to get ahead of the next franchise goldmine before the rest of the world finds out, hit subscribe and follow along. We'll be dropping our first under the radar franchise pick in the next video.